Hi everyone, Zoltan here, and in this video my plan is to test several video cards on the PCI Express bus. So all the cards I have for PCI Express will be tested on this machine, except that one. Okay, so this is the GTX 285. It is the Mac edition, and if you have watched my latest video, maybe the latest, it takes a lot of time to boot, like 2 minutes or 3 minutes to boot with this Mac. It shuts down, reboots, boots again, and then it will pause and it works fine, except it takes a lot of power. I tried it with 2 power supplies. I'm not sure if I showed it to you. Maybe I did. I'm looking for a little tool here. I've just seen it. Yeah, this one. So I think I've made a video about this little connecting the power supplies together thing, and yeah, the boot is not fixed, so I think it's because it's a Mac card with a Mac BIOS and then it switches to the PC version. I remember I already mentioned this to you. These are AGP cards with a very beautiful new one. I will show that too in another video when I will make this Windows Millennium and Windows 2000 dual boot PC later on. And this is the Pentium 3 PC. Yeah, so this is my strongest retro PC. So I will not use the 285 because it just it's messy, but you know, it's a strong card. It's like 2 8800 GTs together in speed, 240 CUDA cores, or I don't know, SPs or what they called them before, shader processors. So just quickly taking a look, it's the Asus B5Q Pro motherboard, if I remember well, and it has the X600 running at 3.0 gigahertz, and I have 4 gigabytes of DDR2 memory in dual channel running at 1066, so it's pretty cool. And I have this Nexus 430 power supply, and I will use Windows XP Professional 64-bit for the first time, because I have like 4 gigs of standard system RAM, and additionally the video card like 128 megabytes or 256 or maybe 1 gigabyte. I won't use this. And I also have this hard drive. It's 320 gigabytes one, but I think I have somewhere a half terabyte one, and I will use it with Windows XP using the serial to CD drive. It's a DVD readable or something, and yeah, so it's an old PC, but still it's decent. I could install Windows 10 on it and it would be just fine around a slow i3 or something. It's a good one actually, but I will use it for all the Windows XP games which are running with the X64 architecture, and for everything else I will use the Pentium 4 PC later on. So quick look at the video cards. So supposed to be, this is the RX 100. It's actually an X600, sorry, and it has this little awesome jumper here which says normal or turbo mode. I already mentioned this. It will increase the core clock by 100 megahertz, and also changes some LEDs from green to red. So I think this is the slowest card, and it's manually made cooler here because this one was a really small one, a really noisy one, so it's crappy, and yeah, it's a really hacking solution, but it works fine. I think this is the strongest I have here, the HD2600 XT, which is it's a good card. It's really good on PCI Express. I always use this card, so you know this. So these are my PCI Express ATI or AMD cards, and I have a few NVIDIA cards here. These are entry mid-level cards, so low-end cards. Actually not the best ones, but I will test them out. I want to make graph this time. I want to edit videos, I think with Adobe Premiere, which is really cheap, like $20 per month or something, so it's really useful to try it. And I want to make a decent video. Sorry about my, I don't know, I'm not using a script yet and I'm just talking randomly, so sorry about that. This is the NVIDIA 7300 entry-level card, but it's decent. Maybe it's around the 6600 or slower. We'll figure out. And this is the 7600 GS, which is stronger. And these are passive cooled cards, which is also awesome. And this is the 84 or 8500. I'm not sure it's there. Oh, it's the 8600 GT. So actually this could be a strong card, but I know it's using DDR2 memory. It's there, like 512 megabytes. I still think this is the strongest unified shader architecture, while these are having like 12 pixel 3 vortex shader, and I don't know the 7300 GT, how it actually, it's a 7300 GS, so even slower. I think it's like a 64-bit memory bus, and yeah, it's a slow card. I also think this one is 64-bit as well, and that's why it's slow, because of the memory. But yeah, that's good. It's really good. I want to test those PCI Express cards, and I was also thinking about to test out these GT 220 1GB GDR2. This is actually the fastest of all this PCI Express card, because it has 48 shader cores, but DDR2 memory running at 400 MHz, which is DDR, so 800 MHz. It's still very slow. Yeah, this would be an awesome card, but requires a strong power supply, and also this Macintosh boot thing really annoys me. So these are the hardware, and in the next part, if I can edit the video right, I will show you how it runs on Windows XP, showing you 3D marks and graphs and all on. So yeah, I really hope I will do that, and it will be great. So I want to say thank you for watching at the end of the video. Okay, so, well, still, thanks for watching so far, and I hope you will continue watching and see how these cards are performing on Windows XP Professional 64-bit. Thanks again. Okay, so here is the retro machine assembled. I have found the half terabyte Western Digital drive here, and yeah, there's something nice about it. So this is the fatality cooler. Now you can see it's glowing red LED thing. Those days this LED lighting wasn't really a thing. Yeah, it's not RGB, just a simple color, but it looks cool. And now it's quiet because I'm plugged it not into the CPU power fan connector thing, but to the cases fan, and I set it to silent, and now it's not as horrible as this Zalman fatality cooler used to be. And this is the X600 here, the slowest AMD card I have, and it has the green light lit, which means it's the normal mode, and maybe if I change the jumper it will be red, and we'll test this out later. So it's running nicely. I had to master the BIOS, set it to AHCS or something, and yeah, little thing, I had to turn off the smart function of the drive, and now it's running awesomely. I just wanted to install Windows XP, but it just booted, so let's take a look. We have Windows 10 on it. Education edition, well, that's a thing. I have a horrible mouse. I already selected 3 of them, and all of them are just bad. Left clicking is wrong, right clicking is wrong, and this one just can't move properly. So, awesome. Peripheral should be new one, not retro junk. So we have the Core 2 Quad CPU here, X600, the 2.4 GHz version running at 3.0, and I have 4 GB of memory, 64-bit operation system. It's the Hungarian version, but yeah, this is cool. I just want to see if we have drivers installed and stuff, but I will install Windows XP because I don't want to use the new stuff. I'm pretty sure Windows 10 doesn't have driver for the ODH2, maybe, I'm not sure, but definitely not for the graphics card. So there is no driver for the 7000 series of NVIDIA. So yeah, I will install Windows XP, 64-bit. Sorry about showing the code, but actually the activation server is not running, and also the 64-bit version doesn't require activation, so whatever, it's an old unsupported operation system, doesn't matter. But yeah, this Windows 10, I just purchased this for a lot of money. I use this for another computer, but now when I'm connecting to the internet, it shouldn't be an issue to realize it's not activated anymore. Whatever. Okay, so we have Windows 10 and a lot of software, just simple test software for Drive, Firefox, and so on is installed, and it's pretty, I don't know. Yeah, it's fast, except the hard drive is a little bit slower, but yeah, the CPU is just good, really good, and 1.5 GB is used. Well, that's great. I just want to take a quick look what we have here. Crystal Disk Mark and a few software here. Really cool. Really cool. Yeah, I just want to show you this one. This Windows 10 killer. Yeah, PowerShell script. I didn't have Notepad++. I might be fucked here. I just wanted to open it in Notepad, but never mind. So this is the PowerShell editor, and it has a lot of line. Actually, it removes all the bootware and disables the ability for Windows 10 to reinstall those Candy Crush, Saga, and all those mess. I will make a video about my actual main PC later, and I will show you what I have on Windows 10 with decent hardware. So yeah, I will install Windows XP, and we'll see how it works. Just one more thing I'm interested in. If I find GPUs I won't, so never mind. Yeah, X600, awesome, 4 MB of cache, P5Q Pro, memory, symmetric dual channel, it's double rate, so it's 1066, and the graphics card is just Microsoft Basics ET Radeon graphics. Cool. It's even more blurry this time. So, whatever, that's it. It's run nice, and I hope it will be awesome. So, see you later in the test video. Here you can see the X600 or RX600 graphics card, and I moved the jumper from this position to this, and the LED just changed from green to red, and I booted up the PC. Now it looks fine with the fatality cooler, red light, and the red light also on the GPU. So it's great. I'm thinking about replacing that cooler with the stock Intel cause it's a bit noisy even with the silent mode set. And the issue was, yeah, you had to reinstall the drivers after moving this switch, so it's not just a simple OC, it does something else. So I had to reinstall the same driver now, and here's the original GPU-Z picture, around 405 megahertz in the core, which will give you 1.7 pixel fill rate and texel fill rate. And after the OC, so actually we're having it now, we are at 500 megahertz, while the memory isn't changed, and it's 2.1, which is great. I don't remember what, so you can't see the temperatures, so it doesn't matter, but you can see the clocks that are 500 and 256.5 megahertz on the memory. Yeah, there is no reading of the temperatures, so that's great. Also, I'll show you the scores in 3D Mark 2000. Unfortunately, sorry about the blur. Yeah, I can't set a damn phone. Sorry. Just can't focus on it. I don't know why. So it says you need at least 64 megabytes of RAM, which is true because I have 4 gigabytes, but it's not. It's a 64-bit, and a 3D Mark 2000 is just by default it's not supporting it, so I wasn't able to run it. A 3D Mark 2001 gave me 14175 3D marks. It was running just awesomely. It's good. 3D Mark 03 3537. Yeah, was fine. It was smooth, no issues. Yeah, 3D Mark 05 1827 3D marks. It was laggy as hell, around 5 and 8 FPS on the GPU tests. Of course, CPU tests were just awesome. Yeah, it's not good for 05. And 06 was around 1 and 2 frames per second. It was horrible, and I was only able to run the shader model 2 and CPU tests, so no shader model on the X600, and also the driver X300, X550, X1050 series. So yeah, that's it. And the score is 505 in total, and 230 for shader model 2, no Theo, and the CPU score is just great. 4730. Yeah, this is the X600, so no issues here. My plan is now to run the same benchmarks with the OC and see if it will help and how much. Okay, so here's the retro PC with the HD2600 XT graphics card now. I've tested the X600 before, as you've seen in the first part of this video. I also replaced the CPU cooler with this copper-based Intel cooler, because the Fidelity Zalman one was really noisy, and now it's in silent mode, and it still can cool down the Q6600 at 3.0 gigahertz. And I also replaced the CD drive, the serial letter one, with this ID version, because the other one wasn't able to read CDs and DVDs properly. I tested the original UT2004 DVD and Serious Sam, and the other one wasn't able to read the discs, so I replaced it, and now it works fine. Otherwise, I tested a few games. I will show you later, maybe. Now I'm running 3D Mark. This card is much faster, and every game is around maxed out, but I have issues with the drivers. It was really hard to force the driver to install, but now it's working just fine. Also, I tested the original Unreal tournament, and with the X600 I was able to run it only by 800 by 600. This was the largest resolution displayed in the options, but now I can run it in these native 1280 by 1024 in Unreal Tournament, stable 75 frames per second, and also GTA Vice City at 30 frames per second, and Unreal 2004 jumped from, I don't know, around 45 to 140 or something like this. Great improvement. And I also tested Half-Life 2 Lost Coast with the highest setting except the AA, and with the X600 it was around 7 frames per second. Now it's around 50, so great improvement there. I don't think I will keep this card for the final version because it's a bit noisy, and I have those NVIDIA cards with no driver issues, and also they are all silent. So the next thing I will test those passive cards, and I think I will use the 8600 GT. This is the strongest with this large passive cooler. This will be the final conclusion, but this card was great. No issues with drivers, a little bit noisy, and I don't really see the reason for this OC mode, because you can put it in OC 500 MHz core and still cool and not louder at all than the normal mode. So yeah, but it was a decent graphics card. And yeah, it's 3D Mark CPU test. Of course it's a bit laggy, but that's it. So now I will install the NVIDIA cards, test them, and I will share the results. Okay, so I have tested the 7300 GS. It only has a 64-bit memory bus and 512 megabytes of DDR2 memory. It was just a little bit slower than the X600 from AMD or ATI. Yeah, the core is it's close. So in 3D Mark 2006, actually this card is faster, and it also supports shader mode 3.0 instead of 2.0. So it achieved a greater score. So let me just click restart here. Now I'm using the 7600 GS in the PC, so I will test out as well. So in 2006 it was faster. It achieved a greater score over like 900 instead of 300 3D Mark. So yeah, it's good, but other 3D Marks are just a bit slower, lower score as well. And I wasn't able to run a GTA Vice City with this. Other games games were running better than with the X600. Also a big issue if I just put it into the PCI Express slot, the primary 16x1 here in this blue one, and it just beeped and I wasn't able to start the PC. I tried it again, but no way. With the 7300 it wasn't booting at all. So I used this dark brown or black PCI Express slot, which is only 8X compatible, and it was running great. With the standard VGA driver, I set the resolution a bit higher to the native resolution instead of 640 by 480, and that just caused the PC to reboot. So it wasn't a good experience with the card, but after installing the drivers everything went smoothly, so it is good. I don't know why I don't have image right now with the drivers installed, but maybe try a reboot, check what's wrong, and yeah, I will test the 7600 GS as well. So this is not a bad card that much. I could run Unreal and Quake at maximum native resolution and everything, so it's good. No Vice City for some reason, probably the drivers. 3D marks were good, and what else? So yeah, HalfLife 2 was functional, playable without HDR. Yeah, X600 was able to achieve with the full HalfLife 2 lowest coast setting 7 FPS. This was capable of 9 at the same place, so a little bit faster. So let me figure out what's the problem with the 7600 GS, and I will come back. Hey guys, so I think this is the end of this project. Unfortunately a bad end, because I wanted to test out the 8600 GS again in this PC, and it's just not booting, no beep or anything. I've tried all the methods, removing RAM and yeah, everything, and it's just not working in this slot, neither in this. It could be the graphics card, but no, because I just put back the HD2600 XT, and it's doing the same thing whatever I do. It just start to boot, the fans are going, then it resets and starting again, but nothing. So it's like the same thing it was doing with the, how do you say that, the 285, you know, this long booting process, but I don't know, it's yeah, I'm thinking it maybe just I have to wait long. No, I tried that too. So the situation is, I think this motherboard is dead, and maybe the whole thing with the GTX 285 is because of the motherboard, so it's a possibility. So I wasn't able to test out this card, neither the 7600 GS, goes like driver issues. So maybe there's something with the motherboard, but you know, today I already replaced the cooler, and now I should remove the motherboard, find another one. But yeah, there is this old motherboard, I don't know if it's capable of doing anything actually. I mean, it's working just low memory clocks. I'm not sure that the Q6600 can work in it. Maybe it can, so yeah, try someday. Maybe I will go and try the Pentium 4 now, and yeah, this is a part of a different project. So I will still share the results of this little benchmarking with this 3 graphics card. One is OC to 4 different scores. Yeah, so that happens if you are working with second-hand hardware and old stuff. Sometimes it's just not working, or it works then stop working and you're screwed. So that happened. I'm a bit sad about this, but still it was a fun thing to play around. And the Windows X64, yeah, XP Professional was a great operation system. I really loved it. It was fast and snappy. A few old stuff, 16-bit stuff is not working obviously, and some 32-bit applications also struggling, but yeah, it was great. It was fun. I think that's it with this retro PC for now. I might add the results here, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. And please subscribe and like the video if you liked it. It helps me a lot, maybe. Yeah. So thank you and bye bye. I'm back. So actually I was able to fix this motherboard stuff. So okay, I removed the CMOS battery and now it just booted. So I tested all the hardware components one by one and it was still good. So now I think for today, for this weekend, I finally finished this retro PC here, and it's running 3D Mark 2006 with around, yeah, this is a very heavy test, so it's still running fine. So we have the P5Q Pro motherboard here with 4 GB of DDR2 memory running at 1066, and we have a Q6600 running at 3.0 GHz, and we have the NVIDIA GeForce 8600 GT. It's a bit slower than the HD2600 XT because of the memory. The ATI card has DDR3 RAM around 800 MHz, and this is slower. It's just DDR2, but it's 512 megabytes, while the ATI card is 256. So it's good, and also the pixel and texel fill rates are better. In this card it has 32 shader cores, while the ATI is 120, but different cores. And here we have shader clock, which is higher, 1100 megahertz, and yeah, so basically the GPU is better, but the memory architecture around it is a bit slower. So yeah, some final conclusions here. Yeah, we have the 3D Mark scores here. I hope I can focus on it. Yeah, it's decent. Also, just taking a look if I have the HD2600 and 3D Mark 2006, so we can compare the two. Yeah, if I can move these nicely. So okay, 4900, 4400. So this NVIDIA card is a bit slower. Also, as you can see, the NVIDIA card's shader model 2 score is better. 1500, 1600, not much, but a bit better. But the shader model 3 is, yeah, it's worse by like 400. And yeah, the CPUs are on the same. It's a bit better with NVIDIA cards in general, not much difference. Okay, so yeah, I will hold this card because it's a passive cooled one, so the PC is really silent. Unfortunately, it's hot as hell, but I think I will be fine with it. So 75 degrees just after the 3D Mark. Yeah, acceptable, not a big deal. But if you touch the card, it's hot. So yeah, so that's it. A bit slower. Yeah, you know, the ATI card is it's DirectX 10 compatible. It's a bit more modern architecture. Well, I'm saying stupid stuff because yeah, the 8600 GT is also DirectX 10 and unified shaders, but yeah, more shader cores on the ATI. So yeah, and the memory architecture as well. Yeah, basically the memory. And only the AMD cards were able to play Grand Theft Auto Vice City because of drivers. NVIDIA drivers for Windows XP 64-bit are just not good. So I tried Bioshock 2, maybe it's too modern, but I wasn't able to run it at all. And yeah, Fallout New Vegas, I think it's same problem with the XP, even installing Windows Live and all this stuff. Yeah, probably I would be able to make it run, but it's just not that important. Unreal Tournament and Quake are both running at maximum details, at maximum frames per second, 91 for Quake III, 75 because of the monitor refresh rate. For Unreal Tournament, nobody's seeing the disable option. HalfLife 2 had with everything maxed except AA, 40 frames per second with the 8600 GT and 48 with the AMD cards, a bit better, and also Unreal is almost the same. So I think the big difference is that with the AMD card I wasn't able to see fraps if I made a print screen, but I saved it as 145 frames per second for the AMD card, so I can see how much I have with the NVIDIA card, which is able to display FPS, and it's 138, around the same place with the same bot facing the same direction. It's around the same in this area, so a little bit like 10 FPS lower, but still this is the most demanding part around here. So yeah, above 100, and other places like above 200, and even the menu system is like 250 and so on. So yeah, this kind of games are very playable. Even Half-Life 2, if you disable the HDR, which is not even in the base game, it just runs at capped FPS. So yeah, basically this XP system is really good. Maybe it will receive an 8800 GT or 9800 GT, the same thing. Passive code, because there are a lot of the type of cards here. Yeah, and maybe my sister will upgrade her 9800 GT to 750 Ti or something, and yeah, I will use it. So thank you so much for watching, and yeah, see the graphs, and bye bye.